I have a Google form here. Here is my Zoho Creator form. So I have three fields: first name, last name, email address. In the Zoho Creator form, I have a lot of fields, but for now, we'll use just three fields: first name, last name, and email. Let's first view this form. As soon as I submit, I want this data to populate on my Zoho Creator form right here in this report. Let's look at the concepts you need to understand to complete this requirement. First, on the Google Forms side, you need to know what an app script is. I will show you how to get there. And they have a form app class. Using that, we can get the form data. And then they have URL fetch app. Using that, we can post the data from Google Form to Zoho Creator. And we also need to set up some triggers on the app script side. So as soon as a form is submitted, this code is triggered. On the Zoho Creator side, we need to generate an auth token or use an auth token and then follow this REST API add records help document. Let's open Google's app script editor. This is where we are going to write our project code. First, let's name this function read and post form to creator. Let me save this. Here is the class form app. We need to get the active form by either opening it by ID. We will not know the ID, so we can get it as get active form. That will give us the current form. So this will be our very first script to select that particular form. This returns a form object. So let's look at the forms methods. We will use the method get responses. So here is the get responses method. It returns the form responses. It's a form response object. So let's click on that. And here's the sample script. We can copy it, paste it in our code. We don't need this form variable because we have already declared it. So I'll take it out. If you look at the second line of code, it reads all the responses and iterates through each and every response. We don't want that. We want to get the most recent form response. What I just wrote was go through all the records and get the most recent record. Now I don't need to iterate through this loop, so I will remove this. This is my most recent response. I can call it as form response, so I don't have to rename this over and over again. So we have all the form responses and we got the current form response. Now we have to go through each field responses. That's what this item responses is for. They use this get item responses to get each field values and they loop through it and log it. We don't want to use this logger.log, but we do need these two expressions, get item.getTitle and get response. So this is the field label name and this is the field value. So I'll take these two and remove logger.log. So this is my expression to send field name and value. Now I will use Gmail app class to send an email from this form to my email. This is just for logging, so you don't need to have this in your script anyway. I will remove it as soon as I write the URL fetch app. Now we need to look at the actual form response. I'll write it as gform data and the body will be this. If you look at it closely, it's going to send an email for each field value instead of sending it once, but I think it's okay because for now I'm going to allow it. This is just for debugging. Now I need to attach this script to this forms on submit. How I do that is we have these triggers. I can click on add trigger. I have this function read and post form to creator, and if I scroll down, I have this event source that's from form and select event type that's on form submit. Okay, it's now asking me to authorize because I used Gmail app. I will allow. The project trigger is set. If I go to form, submit a response. So I have got three emails, one with my email, one with my last name, and the next with my first name. Our next step is to use URL fetch app class. Here it is, URL fetch app. So we will use fetch URL with parameters. Here is a sample script. We'll copy it and use it in our script. We will place it outside for loop because we want to collect all the field data and push it once. So it looks like it's sending a file upload field. We don't want that. So we will be posting this to Zoho Creator's API endpoint, and the options will be according to Zoho Creator's help documentation. Here's the Zoho Creator REST API documentation. Here is a sample request. We'll take that sample request. This is the endpoint. We'll use that. The sample apps is username. Sample is the application link name. and employee is the form link name. So we'll need to replace this, and we will also look at the other options. These two are required, the auth token and scope. So we'll take auth token, put it in form data. There's a way to generate your auth token by accessing accounts.zoho.com's direct URL. I'll copy my auth token, paste it here. The auth token is like your password. So if I'm sharing this auth token, it's like I'm sharing my account password with you. So make sure you don't share this with anybody. So I will delete this auth token as soon as this video is done. We have another parameter that's scope, values creator API. I will use that. So we need to add other field values. On the left side I should use Zoho Creator field value. On the right side I will use Google Form data. There are multiple approaches to get the value and assign it to the field name. I'm going to go with an easy method. So the very first item response is first name. I'll just comment that out right here. 1 last name, 2 email. So 0 first name, 1 last name, and 2 email. We no longer need this for loop because I use this just to log and see the responses. But we will need this script, item response.getResponse. I will use that. I'll just paste it right here and remove everything else. Now this item response, if I access item response of 0, it will be first name's value. If I access item response.1, it will be last name, and item response.2 will be email. So we got all three. Now we have to fill the left side values, the field names. For that I go to the application, edit this application. You click on the field name and you will have the field deluge name right here. You copy that, add it. First name is this, and next field is last name, email. Now we have set up the field values and the entire form data with the auth token and scope. Now it's time to configure our URL. We need the username, which we can find out from this URL itself. After app builder, ARBRC technologies, that's our username, and app link name is called contact-details. Put it right here. And form link name, contact details. And these options is the method is post and form data. If you look at this sample request, the form method is mentioned as post. Save it, run it. This URL app.fetch requires our permission. We'll just review permissions, allow it. It says item response is not defined. Item response. Alright, so we need to use item responses. Now it should be fine. Let's execute again and make sure there are no errors. Let's go ahead and submit another entry. This time Zoho Creator and our email address. If I go and access this report, or we see it right here, first name, last name, and email. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, send them to zoho@arbrc.com. Stay safe.